Testing. Ka-ching! That's like the Ricky Gervais on, isn't it? You've not watched that yet, have you?
What one?
The Ricky Gervais show. Him, Stephen Merchant and Carl Pilkington.
I don't know.
Oh, you have to watch that.
I don't think
So
I've
they sit there, him, Steve Merchant, and pretty much just abuse Carl Pilkington for a 30-minute quick snips. I think they all used to work at XFM or something together, didn't they?
Yeah, and then they the Idiot Abroad stuff and that, where they always, they set out the holiday for him, didn't they? And he'll phone up and be like, "What on earth have you got me doing?" And they just laugh at him. It's brilliant.
Mate, it's so funny. If you like the podcast stuff, just watch it. I think it's on like Comedy Central, or you can get it probably on Catch Up or Netflix. Yeah. It's brilliant. It's hilarious. They do it all in a cartoon format as well.
All right.
So they walk into the studio and you see them all walk in normal, and then it kind of covers over to them like animated, and they put little animated. So when they're talking about a subject, they have like an animation plan of that.
Okay.
With Carl, and it's not. Yeah, it's hilarious. You should watch it.
Cool. I'll definitely. I'll look into that. So you don't know what we're talking about today, do you? So I thought it would be relatively necessary for, especially the people that will be listening or watching this that don't know us. To have today be about you and your, story of how you've gotten to where you are so far, and then we'll do another one about me.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah. So I've got a couple of questions. It's going to be very interviewing.
With Q&A here today.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fantastic.
And obviously, there'll be tangents where you'll go off on stories about different things, whatever.
Probably.
But I thought the best place to start this off would be in your childhood. What did you actually want to be when you were older?
It's an easy answer. Do you know what it is? It's probably what every young boy wants to be.
Football player. Yeah.
Always. Mm-hmm. So growing up, so I'm going to go into this then. So growing up, football. I probably.
So, where did you grow up?
Basildon. Okay. So my family.
Still very local.
Yeah, local lad, Essex lad. So family originally from Canning Town. Lived there for. Is it yours as well? Oh really? I didn't know
my dad grew up in Canning Town. Yeah.
Oh wow! I wonder if they know each other.
No, because my granddad was a teacher in Canning Town.
Really?
So it could be a link. Who knows?
I'll go home, tell my dad, and he'll go, "Oh, what's his family?" And they'll be watching this actually, so we'll be like, "Oh, what's his family's name?"
Yeah, that'd be
oh, did he drink in the old?
I don't know.
It's so close knit. I actually spoke to someone. Who did I speak to last week? Who said their family's from Canning Town? I can't remember. It might have been a partner or somebody. Yeah. Somebody else said that to me the other day. I said, I'll ask my dad. Oh, I'll tell you what, it was a guy in the gym.
Oh, right.
I got talking to him in the sauna.
Yeah.
As you should do. His family are all there. Anyway, we digress. So.
Grew up in Canning Town.
Grew up, a family from Canning Town, moved to Basildon when my mum was pregnant with me. So my older sister, she's 35.
Right.
I think. She was born there. Family moved to Essex, I think when my mum was pregnant with me. Born in Basildon, lived in Essex my whole life. Originally Basildon, Langdon Hills, Benfleet, Rayleigh, all those sort of locations. Went Billericay School, which is obviously not far from here either. Yeah. But growing up was just football.
Right.
There was nothing else in my life. Football. I probably started playing when I was about 7 or 8, which actually was a bit older than a lot of, especially now.
Yeah, I was playing before that.
Yeah, and it was. I only ever used to play at school at lunchtimes, and all my mates played for the local football club.
How easy life was back then.
Yeah.
Just get up in the morning, go and sit in a
my school was literally a stone throw away. You could jump the gate to get to the school.
Oh, right.
So at lunchtime, I'm pretty sure my parents used to watch me in the playground. That's how close it was. You could watch me playing football.
Playing football.
So just that's where it all started. And as I say, I was probably a little bit later than everyone else playing, but my family are all huge football fans. Right. Okay. Big sport fans, really, but football was the ultimate.
I don't know if I want to use this question as the prior. All right, let's change that question then. When was your first ever West Ham game?
It was West Ham. It was Bobby Moore memorial game.
Okay.
Yeah, he's or like testimonial match. It was, and we played. I actually can kind of remember this. We played an all-star team.
Right.
I would have been about 5, maybe. Yeah, see if you can get it up.
What sort of year are we talking here? Without exposing your age.
You definitely weren't here. It would have been 91, 92 maybe. Bobby Moore testimonial. If you type that in.
Yeah.
Testimonial.
Yeah.
It was...
Yeah, we'll ask around.
3-2 we won.
Right.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Any specific players
we were
playing?
we were 2-0 down. No, I think a few Liverpool players played, like McManaman. I think played for West Ham. Jamie Redknapp played for West Ham. So it was a bit of a put together side. Yeah. But I remember we went 2-0 down, and it's the first game I'd ever gone to, and I was sitting there with my dad, and I turned to him when I'm 5, and I think about 5. And I started getting upset because we were losing. And I remember, I can actually remember saying this to him, turning to him and saying, "Dad, what happens if we lose here? What happens if we lose?" And he actually said to me, "Don't worry, mate. Everything's mate.
Yeah.
Don't worry, mate. We'll be fine. We'll win." And we actually won 3-2.
Amazing.
Yeah, cracking game. I think it was 3-2 or 2. No, it was. I'm sure we win 3-2. But yeah, that was the first game that I ever went to see. Kind of remember it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that memorable. The other game that I remember quite well is West Ham played Leeds.
Right.
And you ain't going to remember this, but you might do because he scored an iconic goal in the Premiership. Tony Yeboah.
Yeah.
He scored a...
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a volley, but edge of the box, hit the bar and in. Again, I think we lost 3-1 or 3-2.
Yeah. 25,
they were playing in a green and blue kit, stripes. I remember that game. That was that was at Upton Park, obviously. That was one of my first games. Yeah, he scored a few decent goals.
Yeah. So, whole family West Ham through and through?
Yeah, to the point where...
I mean, Canning Town, you'd expect it.
Yeah, I think to the point as well where, if you don't support West Ham...
Exile.
You always looked at in a different light back then anyway. So yeah, West Ham, mad. Spoiled growing up with football, new boots, new kits, had the lot.
Who was your...
Julian Dix.
Iconic player you looked up to?
Julian Dix. Do you know Julian Dix?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, of course you do. You're West Ham, aren't you? Of course you are. So Julian Dix is my iconic player. Used to have a shaved head.
Right.
To be like Julian Dix. Didn't play left back.
Yeah.
I play left midfield.
Right, okay.
Left midfield. Very small, very skinny. I think Spider was my nickname.
Right, okay.
For a club called Coomwood Colts. That was the first real team. I played for Linkswood Colts, which was the school that I went to that got a team together. Then I played for Coomwood Colts. And that was so the first year I played, I was probably about 8.
Right.
7 or 8, probably. We was in a league... Canvey Island were our big rivals, but our first year I played, I used to play up front back then, I scored about 57 goals in the season.
Oh my God.
And my dad made a bet with me, because I was money mad back then as well. Dad made a bet that if you score 50 goals, mate, I'll give you 50 quid.
Okay. And so you were scoring these 50 goals.
And I think there was one game, and again I remember this because albeit that I did score a lot of goals, I was never really, people might say different. I was never greedy. I don't believe I was greedy, but I remember that we were thrashing aside. Yeah. I think I'd scored 6. And then I needed one more goal to get my 50, and I did start getting greedy. And I didn't score, and there was a couple of times I could have passed and didn't, and we missed. And I think I got it the next game. But yeah, that's quite a fond childhood memory. But yeah, football was always the dream. Yeah. Always just be a professional footballer.
I mean, it is sort of the dream, especially for English boys. You just want to play football. It's sort of like ingrained into your head at a young age, isn't it? That football is,
and I played. I went to soccer school on a Monday, training for something else on a Tuesday. I was playing 5 days a week when I was that young. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
There is a very strange and satisfying feeling of just having a ball at your feet. It's such a
I'd get home from school, go in the garden. We had like a wall that I'd just literally for hours just keep clipping it because they had like I don't know what you'd call it, but like a border on the wall where it was almost like right, let's try and aim to hit the line.
Aim at specific points.
Yeah.
To test your accuracy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
No, it's all good, but
what did you want to do? You're still a kid. Joking.
What did I want to do? I mean, I was never into football when I was really young. I remember the first time I actually properly watched football, like properly got into it, was the 2014 World Cup.
2014 was that?
That was when
Rooney.
That was when Goetze came on in extra time and scored the overhead kick against Argentina.
Ah, yes. Was we in that one?
Volley. I think that was the year we got knocked out by Uruguay, Costa Rica, and Italy. Yes. We were rubbish in the group.
Yes.
Yeah, that was when I first paid attention. I watched the 2010 World Cup.
So how old would you have been the
14 I would have been then.
Was you?
Yeah, and that was the first time I properly watched football. And after that, it was just like, this is it. This is life. And I started watching West Ham all the time, and I couldn't get enough of it then. And that's how I still am now. I can't get enough of football. But obviously, at the minute, West Ham is not the most entertaining to watch.
What did you want to do though?
What did I want to do? I've always I had a big thing for a while where I really wanted to be a cameraman for BBC Wild or National Geographic.
Wow.
So, like David Attenborough documentaries where they go out on a month-long mission to go and, get rare film of a snow leopard.
That's wicked when they show you the
after bits.
Yeah, where you see all the work behind it.
I wanted to be one of those people, but obviously there's so few of them around. And
you can still do that?
Well, I could still do that, but that's what I went to uni for.
Was it?
To try and do that, but then it just wasn't.
One day we'll go back to it. We'll revisit it.
Yeah, we can try and work that out. I mean, it's like I went on safari, and you've seen the photos from my safari, and that I love like wildlife stuff, but making a career out of it's not easy because it's a dream job of so many people. But yeah, so swiftly moving on from that, as you got older. We'll stick to football for a little while.
Okay.
So when were you at the height of your football playing?
I think when I was probably about, in terms of quality, I reckon about 11.
Quality, playing, interest, everything. When
11, 12, I think.
Right, okay.
I was playing for Tottenham at the time.
Right.
I was, without blowing my own trumpet, I think I was very good back then, before you start developing, or certainly before I started developing. And I was, absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I played for Tottenham, and then I went to West Ham for about 6 months. Because I'm West Ham, and it was my dad's dream for me to play for West Ham, as it was mine. And I got injured within the first month of playing. I was out for about 3 months. What did I do? I think it was my Achilles or something like that. And I didn't play for about 3 months. Yeah. And not playing and being so young. And I was very, very shy back then as well. Yeah. Very, very shy. Didn't like... just really reserved and stuff. So I think I played got injured 3 months, wasn't really enjoying it because of that.
Yeah, so you got...
Yeah, so I got injured for about 3 months, didn't really... I think because you are so young and it was a different surrounding. So I was at Tottenham for about 2 years and 2.5 years before that. Had some really good friends. Yeah. Just knew like your routine, it was just comfortable, it was lovely. Yeah. And I played my best football definitely when I was there. There was a ball court when you was that young that you played in. Loved it, absolutely. Like my ultimate
5-a-side type.
Yeah, a little bit bigger than that. Well, probably wasn't. No, it probably was a little bit bigger than that, but it was amazing. Yeah. It was centre of excellence. It was back then, and you played. And then I went to West Ham, and then didn't really enjoy it. And my dad could see that, and he said, "Look, do you want to go back to Tottenham?" So I did. So I went back to Tottenham and then almost picked up from where I left off, I feel like. And then probably from 13, 14, 15, going into those years when people do start developing and stuff like that, I got left behind slightly. So they always. So I guess from playing every week, and at this point as well, you're no longer allowed to play for your mate's team or local clubs. You're full time, if you like, playing. It's probably changed a lot now, but I mean that wouldn't have. So I did that for, I reckon that 14, 15, I probably struggled because of my size. I was really small, tiny, and I wasn't playing and pick up a couple of injuries here and there, and it got to the point where. I wasn't playing. I was on the bench most weeks, and my dad said to me, "Do you want to leave? Do you want to go and play with your mates and enjoy playing again?" And kind of said, "Yeah." And they said to me, it was actually John Monker's dad. So John Monker Senior or whatever. He was head of academy or something like that at Tottenham. And he said, well, look, I remember the meeting. He's like, look, we don't want him to leave because we want to see how he develops over the next year or so. Yeah. But you can't force you to do anything you don't want to. So if you do want to leave, because we was in a contract till the end of the year, or it was like mid-season. And I left, and probably the biggest mistake I made is that I come off the wheel. So I come off the ladder with playing at pro club. I would have played for my mate's local team, Billericay. Where were we?
Short little business break.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a couple of questions. I want to, due to sort of selfish personal interest on just sort of football academy life, because I've had a few friends that have played football academies, but I've never really been able to ask the questions that are sort of the, not necessarily behind closed doors, because it's not really secretive, but
pushing it slightly.
Just things where it's like, the stuff that, just what the...
Ask away, like, we're going back a long time now, but there might be some relevant stuff in there still. Yeah.
So, what's the day-to-day? So, first of all, you're, 11, 12 years old?
Yeah.
You still going to school?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Like anybody else goes to school? Okay.
So, back then, you still went to school. You wasn't allowed to play football for the school because of injuries and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Which they probably... Well, I don't know, but I would have thought that's even more hot now that you wouldn't be allowed to.
I actually don't...
No,
I actually think... Because I spoke to one of my friends about this, and I'm pretty sure he said that for a while, I think it was after he left primary school, they had a school at the academy.
Yeah.
And he stayed at the academy and went to school there.
That's quite common now, I think. Yeah. They have their own football academy. Yeah. Where you...
Yeah, like classrooms where they can do, just English, maths, the general.
That's it, yeah. So, my era... didn't have that. So you still went to school.
Yeah.
We trained... I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one season, and then it might have been Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So but you played on a Saturday or a Sunday,
So you're going from Billericay?
Yeah.
To
White Hart Lane initially. That's where
you were going up to North London after school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
We used to listen to the Beatles album on repeat in the car.
Yeah.
We used to listen to the Mavericks, Dance the Night Away.
Yeah.
We used to listen to a Now CD because it had Vindaloo and Three Lions on it. Because obviously I was very young back then and just used to. But these are the memories that I've got with the journey. Is that so I finished school, I don't know, 3:30, whatever time it was. Straight in the car to football. Training was, I don't know, probably about 6 o'clock. So I think maybe I used to go home, then go, like literally go home, change and go.
Yeah.
And then football, so initially it was at White Hart Lane, which is where the ball court was and stuff like that. And then it moved to Chigwell, or Spurs Lodge, which is where it was then, when you was like 14, 15.
Is that the actual training ground?
Yeah, I think it's moved since though. They've got an unbelievable.
But you were at the actual training ground of Spurs.
Yeah.
So did you ever mix with the first team? Not necessarily playing, but...
Not really, because they would have been training during the day. You might see a couple of them knocking about, going to get physio and treatment and stuff like that, or see their car in the car park, and you're like, wow, that sort of stuff. Yeah, not overly. Charlie Sheringham played in our team, so his dad would come over and watch, so, you had all that sort of going on. But, training was kind of, and then on the way home, more so when I was younger, before nutrition was a big thing, because again, it was the older years that started becoming a thing. But my dad used to take us to McDonald's every night after training. I used to go and get McDonald's. Again, the younger years, like 11, 12, those sort of years.
So, one other thing I've wondered, what's the money situation? So, do you pay to be there? Do they pay you to...
Yeah, they again, as you get a bit... So, no, actually, when you were younger as well, they used to give you subs money, and it was calculated based on your distance from training. So it was almost like petrol money.
Okay.
And you'd have to queue up, see the tea lady, sign your name, signature, and then you'd get, I think it was only like 3 or 4 quid a training. Like it was something. You were getting paid even at like 11 years old. And as you got older, that went up. And then as you got a bit older, like 15, 16, going into it, then got direct debited into your bank account. So before it was like, here's 4 quid, pound coins. And then it started going up a little bit more, not massive, but it became a direct debit payment.
You were at the stage where you were getting bank transferred money for playing football. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, that's
quite...
You don't really appreciate it back then, you don't.
But when you think about it, it's like...
Yeah, and that was back then. Christ knows what they get paid now.
Oh, yeah. Could be, extortionate. Like,
and if you're half decent as well, contracts.
Well, nowadays, you've got that... I don't know if you've heard about him, that... his name, I think it's Ansu Fati.
Right.
Plays for Barcelona. He's now starting for Barcelona. He's 16.
Really?
God knows how much money he must be on. He's 16. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, another question that, and sort of moving on from that actually, it sort of links quite nicely. Did you have... Actually, let me jump back slightly. So, the question I was going to say is, did you have a normal life of a teenager? But... Before I ask that, we'll go back in time a little bit.
Yep.
What were you like in school? Because typically, the people that play football very well are very well known. Like,
it's quite popular and all that sort of stuff. I would say primary school, yes.
Right. So, we were talking about you in the academy and about how you were in school days.
Yeah.
Due to your footballing ability.
Yeah. So primary school.
Yeah.
Probably quite popular. Mm-hmm. Really comfortable. Love primary school.
Were you in the...
No, didn't love primary school. That's an absolute lie. I hated school actually.
Right.
But when it was lunchtime and I could play football, loved it.
Yeah. Were you in the primary school football team?
Yeah.
At that time?
Yeah. So we was allowed to play then. So we won a cup final and stuff like that. So that was all good fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, primary school, quite popular. Mm-hmm. Went to secondary school and just got really shy. Right. I think what it was, again, I was very conscious. This is going a little bit into a bit of detail here, but because I was a late bloomer.
Right.
Yeah, you had a lot of my friends that were into going out, talking to girls, probably drinking at a young age and smoking, and I was quite, I wouldn't say sheltered from it, but I think actually playing football and after school, not having the ability to even do that, helped, made that I didn't go into them sort of habits. I don't think I would have wanted to anyway. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't that sort of person. I actually quite enjoyed going home, going to play football or jumping on the computer and stuff like that. I wasn't big on going out at all.
Very similar to how I was.
Yeah, I was very shy at school, very, very shy. And I reckon I went from probably being quite popular at primary school to not really, just kind of blending in with everyone. Even though I did play for Tottenham, and that was quite well known. But then what I used to get is everyone in the school, he plays for Tottenham, and then you'd play because I could play for the school for the first year or two, and then you wasn't allowed to. But even if you had PE and you played football, everyone judging, he's not that good actually. Look, he plays for Tottenham, but look, he's not that good. Yeah, a little bit. So I had a bit of that going on, but senior school, kind of just blended a bit.
That's fair enough. I actually do know someone. One of my friends is sort of similar. He's probably the best football player my age I've ever seen, but he's so quiet. Like, he's one of my best friends, and I met him in college. And everyone, bear in mind, I went to Havering Sixth Form College, so it's an open college, not particularly high requirements to get into. And we were in a sports science class, so you can imagine the sort of people that are in there, or whatever, going out doing ridiculous things, this, that, whatever. But we would always just sit in the corner talking about FIFA and how the football was over the weekend.
Yeah, always.
That was me and him, right? But we'd never really spoken about how good he was. And I remember there was one day I was friends with everyone in the class, and as was he, but he was like really quiet, so we'd just talk between us. And then I'd go and talk to everyone else, but he'd sort of sit there in the corner, a little bit quiet, whatever. I remember the first time we ever played football, we were doing 5-a-side. They had an AstroTurf, we were doing 5-a-side, and he nutmegged 4 of their players and then scored. And we were all just like he was unbelievable. And he still plays now, and he's like, I think he was talking to me the other day, he was playing 5-a-side at the Dagenham Goals.
Yep.
And they had 3 players for the whole game. The other team had 7, so they had 5 players, 2 subs.
Yeah.
And they lost by 1 goal. And he said that was the first game he'd lost in 6 months.
Really?
And he was like, I'm so annoyed, I've broken the streak. First game lost in 6 months, and he was 2 players down.
Really?
So, yeah, he's pretty good. But it just goes to show that it's not always the people that are really loud and...
No, and look, they talk about that, don't they? About like captains of football clubs and that, where they're not screaming shouters, and like I think I watched a Gary Neville soccer box the other week with Steven Gerrard, and he wasn't like
they're
always
always
kept himself to himself a little bit and just got on with business and stuff like that.
Captains, they're more like the mature side. You wouldn't want like the party animal to be your captain. Really, it's not a good look.
I think that was the other thing that I used to get penalised for as well. Sorry, back on me. Was that you used to get people, he's not very good and stuff like that. Yeah. And then because you played, and this is something that I could talk about forever, because I think it's unfair that people that are good from a young age almost get unfairly treated in that, okay, he's the best in that. Like, we go back to like young people playing, and I don't know if you've ever gone and, like, my little nephew plays, he's 9 now, 10 even, 10, yeah. But I used to go and watch him play when he was 6 or 7. Yeah. And he had a guy in his team, little lad, curly-haired boy, Joseph. Unbelievable. I've never... How a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old can do some of the things this lad could do. I think he plays for Arsenal now. Yeah. But because he was so good, he was a striker, naturally. Yeah. But because he was so good, he used to get penalised and, like, we're going to put you at the back because I need to fit somebody else into the team that's not so good and play them up front. Yeah. He was that good, even in defence he'd score like 8 goals or something, just run through the team. But you almost get, as I say, treated different and unfair. And what they should do at that age is encourage to give the ball to the best player.
Well, they should.
Some people might not agree with this, but I think
I agree.
His development suffers because he's too good. Yeah. How can you not? I know that from a young age, it's all about learning. It's not about the game, and it's more about enjoyment and all that, and learning the rules. I get that, but when you're that good, they should have been like gold stamping him up to be like, right, give it to him, or when he's that good, and he used to get, I think, penalised slightly for that, and I think that's actually now why they don't like you playing for clubs at a young age because of things like that. Right. I had it at school where, because I played for Tottenham. And I didn't go training. So the year I left, I was just finishing up at school and we was in the cup. Yeah. And the PE teacher, who was the manager, said, right, I can't start you in this next game. And I was told, you can't play because you haven't trained. And again, I was obviously one of the better players, definitely. Yeah. Without floating out. He didn't start me, and I come on as a sub. I think we were losing 1-0, and I scored 2 goals and set a goal up or something. But again, just because you almost get treated different, which I just think it's
not the best system really, is it?
No.
I mean, me and my best friend at the minute now, we both absolutely love football, but we've been looking for a team to play for so long, but because neither of us have played since we were 11, 12, 13, that we've lost the 11-a-side mindset. We haven't got the fitness. We play football all the time for fun, but our technique isn't perfect. But, you know, it's so difficult to find a team.
Is it?
Like, we've looked through, like, there's an FA website where, you know, there's like the sort of like get involved in sport thing, that whole campaign they're pushing. But every single team, you've got to be at a pretty high level to be able to play. So it's really difficult. Like, the system is not.
Yeah.
It's not really ideal. But
does he want to come play with us? Our 5-a-sides.
I've mentioned it to him, but it's not. Location isn't exactly ideal for him because he'd have to come from Romford back. But we are playing a lot, and he's really focusing on getting really fit at the minute. He's basically let himself go over the last year or so. So he's probably trying to get fit. Coming up to our holiday in May, and then we're going to try and join a team then. But I'll definitely make him aware that a possibility.
Yeah,
because he's pretty good. We play all the time, and he's pretty good.
It's the enjoyment stuff as well, and it is keeping active and also being around that environment. And again, we spoke about being competitive. Spit that out last week.
Yeah.
And I think that's healthy. I think it's good to have stuff like that going on. Breaks your week up nicely, keeps you active, keeps you fit, keeps your mind sharp.
100%. So
we spoke about football for an hour nearly there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we were talking about finding out about each other, wasn't we?
Yeah. So I have one last football question, which will round it off quite nicely.
Go on.
Do you think you could have gone professional?
Definitely.
Really?
100%. 100%. I know that sounds really arrogant.
No, it's not arrogant.
No, but I genuinely do. I technically, I think I was really good, really strong. Seeing a pass, so I was more technical ability.
What?
See a pass, good left foot.
What would you compare yourself to? I mean, from the way you've always described yourself, I'd say like David Silva.
Yeah.
Left footed. Got a good vision for passes.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm really bigging myself up there, but I suppose if you're looking for that type of play, I could run as well when I was younger. So the comments that, like my dad watching, you know, Carl, your boy don't stop running, does it? Fitness, I was so fit, so fit, and I was up and down, and I listened and I did what I was told. And I think if I had been a little bit more, maybe confident, a little bit more selfish, a little bit more ruthless, maybe growing up, I think if I had left Tottenham and gone and played for Southend or Leyton Orient, I would definitely have made it. I genuinely think that when I left and went and played for a local club, I then ended up playing for Brentwood, who were Essex Senior at the time, and then got promoted to Ryman. And I was 18, 19, and that was adult football. Yeah. And that was a big eye-opener for me as well. Used to get paid playing there as well. So again, all of that sort of good. And then I just started getting into going out. Yeah. I met my wife as it is now. I started getting lazy. My dad was always probably the biggest influence on me growing up. If I was playing bad, he could shout at me on the side and say, like, take him on, stop passing, run with it a little. And I'd listen and I'd do it. He'd make sure I was at training. If I was injured, he'd make sure I was at physio getting treatment on those days. When I got to 18, 19 and then I could drive myself and almost didn't let him come and watch me, I lost the discipline. I lost the cutting corners, that sort of attitude. And as I say, at that point, because I didn't drink till I was 16, 17, my first ever alcoholic drink. And then I was at college them years, and you just go out clubbing and all that sort of stuff. And I got out of it, and I gradually went from playing at a decent level still, where I could have probably still pushed on and gone up, to coming down, couple of injuries, and then I used to suffer horrendously with hamstring injuries all the time.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're 32, you're a has-been, you never even had a career.
Yeah.
And I'm still only 32, really. I could still have been playing, but it doesn't interest me no more. Football's completely, whereas it used to be the core of who I was.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near it now. Yeah. Nowhere near.
Yeah, so football's obviously been a massive part of your life, as we know from the 44 minutes we've been talking about it. But obviously we haven't got a ton more time. We don't want this to go on extremely much longer, over an hour.
Yeah.
So we've got a little while. We'll talk about now. So you finished playing football, 16, like when it was a big part of your life.
Yeah.
You went on to college.
Yeah.
What did you study in college?
I did a football course, sports science, something.
So
like
nothing
that.
businessy.
No, nothing businessy.
Right. And then
it was basically a chance of just go and play football again.
Yeah.
Played at college. That
give
me nothing as well, by the way. Absolutely nothing.
Yes.
But it was good to be around that sort of environment still.
So then, I presume you've just answered my next question with that, but why no university?
No university. Probably a lack of understanding about uni, if I'm honest. My family, albeit they probably would have encouraged it, it became more about go and get a job, get money. I look back and think I would have loved university.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't overly regret not going though, and I don't regret it at all. Actually, I went and got a job. I went and worked locally for. Funny enough, I was playing for Brentwood at the time. Football, got a job with their owner. He had an accountancy firm,
yeah, I remember you telling me that.
And just went and did some work for him.
So your sister, she's an accountant?
She's an accountant, yeah.
Did she go to university?
She started off at university and then she left after a few months, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so none of us really, I say none of us, me and her didn't do the whole university thing. The only other thing that I would have probably done, probably the thing that I would have done is not gone to uni, what I'd have loved to have done, looking back, and almost encourage my children at some point, hopefully, if that happens, is that I would encourage them to go to America and do if they're good enough, they do like I call them football courses. They're not football courses, but like a YTS American type thing. A couple of my friends did that. Absolutely loved it.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I sometimes look back and go, I wish I could. If I'd have still been on the football bandwagon, wish I'd have done that.
Yeah, that would be a proper experience.
Yeah.
I think, especially when you see all the like the footage of it from Netflix documentaries and whatever. It's such a different lifestyle, but it is interesting. So the next thing was first job, which you've just explained. So you're
jumping the gun, aren't I?
You're so someone you knew through football had an accountancy firm. Yeah.
So the owner, I spoke to him and said, "Have you got any work?" And he said, "Well, I've got." They were in the process of like building the ground. So when you go through the leagues, you've got certain regulations you need to meet in order to
capacity. And
that's it. Yeah. So they didn't have a stadium at the time. And I was like a labourer, so I did that a few days a week. And then I asked the guy again and said, "Look, is there anything else that I can do?" And he said, "Well, I've got an accountancy firm, you can come and do that." So I started off there. So I would have been 18, sort of age, 18. And did that for a year or so. That was my first real job. That was pretty much data input. Yeah. Just odds and sods kind of duties.
Yeah. So how did you develop from that? So you've gone accountancy, doing nothing. Obviously, I presume accountancy. If you're going to be an accountant, you have to be qualified.
Yeah.
So how have you gone from? Did you ever do that accountancy itself?
I did. See, when I was that age, I didn't actually know the jobs that I was doing or why. Yeah. Here's a job, do this.
Yeah, here's a simple task. Just
put all these receipts onto that spreadsheet. No idea why. Yeah. No, whereas now I know I was doing a VAT return, for instance, right? Yeah. So I had a lot of those jobs, and then part of what we did was insolvency, advice, not advice as such. I suppose it was advice. So to become an insolvency practitioner, so these are the guys that go in when a business goes into administration or liquidation, they take control of the business essentially. That is a very full-on requirement. There's extensive qualifications and things you need for that. It's very expensive. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That bit quite interested me.
Right.
So we would speak to companies and business owners about creditors and pressure that they had, and we would then we'd almost try and help them with talking to their creditors, getting payment plans set up. So I did that for a bit, and then that led me into going into a job in Canary Wharf, which was for an insolvency firm.
Okay.
So I did that probably for about 3-4 years. That was from an experience point of view, being so young, that was an amazing job.
Yeah.
It was. The people I worked for as well, I learnt a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Had I not worked in those sort of environments, I don't think I would have probably been cut out to do my own thing.
Yeah.
So I probably owe a lot of praise for that. But the job itself, you'd go out into businesses.
Yeah.
Where you had companies that had gone into administration, where they'd essentially, because obviously we do invoice finance, the lenders have, to keep it very simple, lent money to a company, they've not paid them back, or they've breached the agreement or the terms, and we'd go in. So we might go into the office on a Monday morning, and one of the partners would come out and say, right, we've got a job in Manchester, away you go. So you have nothing on you. You'd have to get clothes and toothbrush and all this sort of stuff on your way up there. But you would have to go to site, and you'd walk into a recruitment business or big wholesaler or manufacturing or whatever it is. And you'd be dealing with people that had been running a business maybe for 30 years as a family, and have to tell them that the company's now under the control of the appointed administrator. You'd have to make people redundant, and seeing all this so young, it really toughens you up. Yeah. I mean, I've got loads of experiences on that, which I'll say for another day. Yeah. But that was a proper tough job. Yeah. And that was a real kind of cut your teeth. To become streetwise, what I call it, skills you don't learn at school, but streetwise skills. That was fundamental.
Experience outweighs anything you can learn from a textbook, doesn't it? There's tons of things that you like. I'll explain next time when I have my sit down. You interview.
We will talk about you.
I'll explain the experiences I had with my job before this. Yeah. And it was hard, but it's
all learning
in a good way.
It's all invaluable. If you take the positives out of it, it's all invaluable.
Oh, it was amazing, the job. It really was, but it was emotionally quite difficult. I'll explain why.
Yeah.
So that basically covers your career until you
now
made this jump.
Yeah.
So what were you doing just before you left?
To do this?
Broker?
No. So I went from broking. So from that role, I went into one of their other businesses and did the broking. That's where I learned the industry. And then I left and I went into recruitment. I did that for about 18 months, and that was working for a new startup. And again, from an experience...
Is that here?
No.
Oh, right.
That was in Old Street.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So that was still in the city. Yeah. But again, the experience I got there was invaluable. Mm-hmm. So I went from a really structured environment to processes driven, and everything's got a home, to a new startup where this is the harsh reality. If you ever want to start your own business,
this is how you do it. This is what you got to deal with.
Yeah. And again, I can't really fault that experience. And again, had I not done that, I was going to start up when I left the broking. I was going to start up on my own. I wasn't ready, so I went into recruitment and then started up. Mm-hmm. Again, learnt tons doing that. And then that was, I left the recruitment job and decided that I was going to do this that I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. Fast forward 3 years, pretty much in a couple of weeks, and here we are.
Yeah. So I'll ask one more life question.
Yep.
What was the most difficult thing that you went through when you started up this business?
That's a good question. I think the most difficult part of it was the doing it. So sorry. Ask again. What was the biggest?
What was the most difficult part?
Yeah.
About starting your own business?
Yeah, doing it. I know that sounds daft, but actually committing to it and actually starting.
Yeah.
Without
it's
talking
so risky,
about it.
I
got my wife kindly bought me a watch as an engagement present, and I sold that to start up. Just I had a few months buffer for cash flow, and I think the most difficult thing is just the battle you have with yourself. I guarantee anybody that starts up that knows what they're doing and wants it that much will always succeed. Always.
Yeah.
But it's doing it. And it sounds so easy when people have done it and then they look back in a few years and go, and what you normally get is, oh yeah, they had a lot of luck though, didn't they? You remember when they did it? Yeah, but they had a lot of luck and the market was different back then and this was different. But people only see it in 2-3 years' time when it seems a bit more stable and, you know, they don't see the going home constantly on your mind. And like, I'd have to phone people and say, can you pay me early this month?
Yeah.
Because I've got no cash. I literally can't pay the bills at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So can you pay me early? I know you're meant to pay me in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Can you help me out? But 9 times out of 10, if you ask someone to help you, they do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest battle. I do think you make it work.
Yeah.
You make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite inspiring words. I mean, anyone that's starting their own business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're talking about? Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about the difficulties of starting a business.
Because I think when you break it down, my industry, there's not massive startup costs.
Yeah. All you really need is a computer and a phone.
Pretty much, yeah. Data, computer, phone, and work. I really struggled to work from home. I was lucky enough my sister had an office that I worked from.
Yeah.
Again, it all kind of lined itself up quite nicely. She was moving to Spain at the time.
Right.
And she had this office literally about 5 minutes up the road from where I lived. And it just worked out that I said, okay, can I have the office whilst you're not here? So that kind of worked itself out. Yeah. But yeah, it's the difficulty of...
Yeah, it's always been something that I've thought I would love to do. I don't think I'd be particularly good at it.
You're 19.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. That's what I mean. Like if I had my own business now, I'd be. But I do think it would be a really, not in the least selfish way possible, like quite an empowering thing to be able to have like, you know, your own business. Yeah. Like it's a big deal. Really.
Yeah. I think the 15 years of work or the 10 years of work built me up to the point where I was ready for it. So you're 19, you're sitting here now saying 20. Sorry, mate. Oh yeah. Of course. Happy birthday for a couple of weeks ago.
I wasn't even correcting
Yeah.
you. Didn't think.
No. So yeah, you're at a point where at the moment you're thinking about that sort of stuff, but maybe you're not ready. But if you will, like you will be ready one day. If that's what you want to do, you will. You'll learn everything that you need to along the way, and then you will one day. Trust me.
I do think though that it's not the actual, particularly the business side of it that bothers me. I think if I am eventually, which I hope to be, a manager, I think that will scratch my itch.
Yeah.
Because I just think it'll be, I don't know, just having sort of people that, again, it sounds selfish, but I just feel like it would be quite a nice, empowering feeling to have like people that look up to you as like a good boss. I feel like that's quite it's similar. It's a weird comparison, but it's almost similar to having like, if you have kids and you bring them up really well, it's a similar thing of like if you've got a team under you and they think you're a good boss, it's like probably like a really nice feeling, and it's like, I don't know, that's where I hope to be eventually someday.
Yeah. You will.
Yeah.
Honestly, you will one day. And it's not as... Again, it's quite easy saying this 3 years after. And look, anything can happen. So, don't count me chickens or anything like that ever. But if you want it enough, you will.
Yeah.
And please believe me, the biggest thing that stops people doing it is yourself.
Yeah. No, I can totally see that.
And it's just taking the plunge.
Yeah, it's the same with everything. Things like going to the gym, you can have as many excuses as you want. The only thing stopping you from going is yourself.
Yeah.
It's just breaking that barrier of...
Once you're in it, you're in it. And once your back's against the wall, and once there's no choice, and once there's no money coming at the end of the month...
Yeah, you just got to work.
Trust me.
Got to work.
You'll be surprised what you can do. You'll be surprised what you didn't think you could do.
Yeah.
And what you will do when...
Yeah.
I got literally no choice.
Yeah.
I literally got no choice.
So, we've discussed your past, your childhood, your football background. Now we've gone through starting up the business. I mean, business going pretty well at the minute?
Yeah, I'm happy with where we are.
Relatively quiet month, but pipeline's looking nice.
Yeah, I'm quite happy where we are at the minute. Yeah. I think we're obviously growing as a company. So I think this time last year, I'd have been sitting here talking to myself.
Yeah.
Because it was just me. In that period from May till now, we've got 5 other people in the business, which is great. I want us to keep adding with that. I don't want to run before we can walk, you know. So we will continue to grow. Yeah. But it's dependent on performance. It always is. It's always dependent on how well we do. But at the moment, we're good. We've got lots and lots of ideas. This being one that we're going to start pushing a lot more with. Yeah, lots of ideas. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Any sort of, I know we've discussed a lot of this, and there's obviously things that you're going to keep under wraps, but any sort of short-term plans that you could share about sort of business development? So obviously we've got this. We've got the documentary that we're working on. Yeah,
I think this and that is the next thing. I think what I want to get to at some point is investment into people and into businesses and entrepreneurs who want to start up on their own and need some support, and maybe somebody that has gone through that I can help. I'd love to do that.
Oh, you know what we can do at some point? We can have maybe we could do it, I said I wanted to have a fun question at the end of it, whatever, which I haven't actually planned. I'm going to do that bit off the cuff for this one. But tomorrow when we do mine, we could discuss, that business plan thing I had, that travel thing. Yes. That is literally my absolute dream.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we should do that.
But, yeah.
I'll throw that at you tomorrow.
That's a lot of... There's a lot to it.
You've got to be careful just not to give too much away. In case someone starts stealing your idea. Yeah. But I think the other thing that I would like to do this year is do more with charities. Yeah. I'd like to put on an event for a charity, or the big plan for us this year is to be bang on the map. Yeah. Bang on the map, very recognised, very well known in the industry. Yeah. And then kick on from there. We've obviously got the broker side, the recruitment side, which is a big part of this year as well. Yeah. And also this sort of stuff. I'd love to get this rocking. Yeah. Yeah, I've got loads, and so have you. We've got loads of ideas for this, haven't we? Where we want to take this.
Yeah, and that is exciting.
Yeah.
So, what about then your general long-term goals? Let's go more personal long-term goals more than business ones, because we've discussed that in abundance before. I don't think we've discussed it on recording, but have you got any personal goals?
Personal goals. See, I don't have a bucket list, do I?
No, we did.
Maybe that should be my first goal, which is to get one.
Just to get it done, yeah. And it is fun. There's a website online, I think it's called like thebucketlist.org or something, and it's got people can input like a photo and an activity and where it is and how much it costs or whatever.
Oh, really?
And you can go down and add them all to our wish list, and then you can build a bucket list, and it's got all pictures and where they are and all this sort of stuff. It's amazing.
So maybe you should share that with me, because maybe I think something like that I should probably get, because I don't have loads of interests. It drives my wife mad, but I don't really have loads. I'm so focused with work at the moment, which probably I almost need to take a step back on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's that thing, isn't there, where people say like they live to work and work to live or whatever. Yeah, so we're talking about personal goals, and interests. So, don't you think that there's a point though where you've got to stop? I don't know how
trying to take over the world.
How to word this, because you're so business minded, which is really respectable. But don't you think that there's a point where you've got to step back and actually
chill out?
Not necessarily chill out, but
there's more to life.
There's a lot more to life than work, and you only have, one lap of the track, and you've got to. You can't waste that by 24/7 being like, what's going on at work.
I think with that, the reason that I am like I am at the moment is because I do want to build something to the point where I can.
You can take.
Then have that freedom.
Yeah.
So it isn't necessarily about the money and things like that. And I've always spoken about this before.
Different. Yeah.
And the success, because success. Who did I listen to the other day? And obviously with the whole Caroline Flack thing, is that you think success brings happiness and clearly doesn't. Yeah. And that's something I'm conscious of. I don't want it to overrun my life, and then all of a sudden you do start getting into deep stress and depression and stuff like that, which can naturally happen. Yeah. But I think the success and building something to the point where you can almost take a step back is what I'm trying to do. Yeah. But I'm 32. So I've got so much energy and so much to give.
For a long time to go before.
But the idea is that you build it to the point where you have freedom. Yeah. You have freedom that you can then, and as I say, it doesn't come down to the money side. You then can come and go as you please, and you build that, and hopefully have a family one day. Yeah. That's probably a massive goal. The big thing is the family side of stuff, and that will be a new chapter if that happens as well.
I mean, obviously neither of my parents, I say neither of my parents own their own business, but I don't know what my dad's situation is with that business, but there's been a lot of business meetings around our kitchen table. But it's similar to what my parents were like. I mean, they had me and my sister young. I think my dad was about your age when they had me, and my sister's 2 years older. And it's similar. They spent their whole time before they had me and my sister working, trying to get on the housing ladder, all of these sort of things, get the building blocks put in. And then once they had me and my sister, they said it's completely... they said it completely changed their life, and they just spend... now they don't drive fancy cars, they don't spend a ton of money on our house, they don't buy designer clothes, but they both earn a really decent living, and they spend all of it on having experiences around the world with me and my sister. And I think that's really important, especially when you have kids. Yeah. But that has also proven me really lucky, because I know so many people that have, not had the upbringing I have.
It's a really good point. And I think if that happens for me, and we have children, then naturally it's more about the memories and creating that sort of stuff, as opposed to the
just focus on work. And there's a lot. It also opens your eyes up, I would imagine, to the fact that you've created a life and you want to make sure that your child's life is the best it can be.
Yeah, I think that's what happens probably, isn't it?
Semi-absent due to the amount of work that you know what I mean, that sort of thing. You want to give them time.
Well, that's another reason why you do it. There's another reason why I started up, is that you think one day, I don't want to do the into London early and then back really late. I'm just getting... And I've got friends that do it, and they literally get home to tuck little one into bed, and they do that Monday to Friday. And starting up on your own, hopefully, albeit it is a lot of work, but then, you know, put a little one to bed and then turn the laptop on, or do whatever you need to if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, it is relatively arrogant what I'm about to say, but I'm saying it in the best and wholehearted way possible. But I think that morally and that sort of side of life, I'm pretty good. Like, there's a lot of people that are terrible, etc., whatever. Yeah. Everyone says I'm well beyond my years, being mature and that sort of stuff.
Good values, good ethics, haven't you?
I 100% put that on my parents and the travel that we've done, because I've been to India and seen how people live out there, and it's terrible. I've seen the slums in Johannesburg, all of these different things, and it really makes you realise things. Definitely. That it's like, you know,
I think everybody becomes who they are through
experience
and how they've grown up. I put everything down to my parents.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm not who I am today if it ain't for them.
It is.
That's how it works. So your parents should look at you and feel really proud.
Yeah, well, I hope they do.
I mean, it's so out there what you said, but
so, you know, as I've been saying, I think we should end these things off with a little bit more of a fun question, a bit more light-hearted, etc. So we all know, well, I say we all know, I know, you know, that you're going to Thailand this week.
Yeah.
So let's say, ignoring that, if you had the next 2 weeks off and you could book a holiday to do anything and it had to be something that's going to be on your bucket list, where are you going and what are you going to do?
It's not a good question for me.
It's not a good question, that's why I'm asking you it, because it's going to make you think.
I'm going to have 2 weeks off. I can go anywhere in the
wherever
world.
you want, but you have to pick something to do that you've always wanted to do. So it might be, I can give you a few examples if you want.
Please.
You know, go on safari, go and see the Northern Lights. I'm ignoring dates and whatever. Go and see El Clasico, Barcelona, Real Madrid.
I'll say this, and this is something that never ever interested me.
Yeah.
And probably until now, literally probably until this year.
Yeah.
Is probably safari.
Right.
Yeah, and I say that because, as you know, I've probably mentioned Jem's Animal Mad, Animal Crazy, just started up her own business. Yeah. Tails and Toe Beans, just to get that out there for everyone. Tails and Toe Beans. But she is animal mad, and growing up I wasn't, and I was sheltered. My mum just really uncomfortable around anything, around dogs, across the road, not because she dislikes them, but just makes her uncomfortable. And then obviously meeting Jem changed that for me. Yeah. And I actually really like animals now. Yeah.
Safari is without a doubt the best thing I have ever done.
I think it was
probably unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Where did you go? South Africa?
South Africa, Kruger.
Yeah, so that's what we're thinking. So probably that, and I think one of our friends is supposedly getting married out there next year, and one of our other friends is going out there for a safari. So I think we'll end up doing that next year.
If you go on safari in South Africa, let me tell you the places I stayed, because the people that owned those hotels were like the best people I've ever met.
Really?
They're unbelievable. And that was straight after that. Literally, I came home from South Africa, and I knew in my head at that time, and my mind hasn't actually really changed that much, that's what I wanted to do.
Really?
And I said, so I was doing film studies at university. I dropped out of that and changed to wildlife ecology or whatever it's called.
Sure, go with it.
That sort of thing. And, you know, all about sort of sustainable eco stuff, all that sort of stuff, and also animals, and the biology of them, and all of these different things. And that was what I was going to do. And I'll go into why I didn't do it. There's a very key point.
Well, because I'd actually be really interested to...
Till next time.
Yeah, let's do that, because...
many stories that I'll go into.
Yeah, you've got a very interesting story in terms of... I think everyone has, haven't they? Yeah. Different childhoods and growing up and what they wanted to do. So I definitely want to delve into that.
Yeah.
I think
we'll go through that tomorrow. that'll be out a week after this one. So
yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah. All right, sweet.
That enough for you?
Yeah, I think so. On to the next one.
On to the next one. Cheers, mate.
Sweet.